Hello! Today we will be walking through the MySLU system and the registration process here at SLU within the Student Success Center Medical Center. Feel free to use the printed guide as well while you're following along. The topics covered will include: what is the efficient way to search for classes? What should I consider when planning my first schedule? How do I add courses for my semester schedule? And finally, where can I view my completed schedule? Some helpful websites that will be referenced throughout this presentation include the registrar's website at registrar.slu.edu, where you can find information on attributes, waitlists, registration errors, and more. And in addition, we also encourage you to check out the Medical Center Advising website with the address on the screen. There you can find frequently asked academic advising questions, major curriculum guides, and contact information. Let's get started. Registration preparation, seeing what you're already registered for. Before you came to SLU 101, your academic advisor helped with enrolling you in your major mandatory courses for the fall. You will then plan around these classes, so let's be sure to look at your schedule at this stage. First, log into MySLU.slu.edu with your username and password. Be sure to ask the SLU 101 leader in the registration lab if you have any questions about logging in or are experiencing difficulties. When you log into the MySLU system, click on the Tools tab. Next, go ahead and click on the banner self-service icon. When you're in the banner self-service system, be sure to click on the Student tab at the top if it isn't already selected. You will then go ahead and click on the registration link. Next, click on Week at a Glance. This will give you a visual layout of your week with what you're already registered for. Here's an example of the Week at a Glance view. As you can see, the student has classes on Monday and Tuesday nights from 6 to 8:30 p.m. Once you see what you're already pre-enrolled in, be sure to map them out on your class schedule worksheet so that you can see your available times to fit in other non-mandatory courses. Include the course reference numbers, or CRNs, for each course as well as the locations and times. Registration preparation, planning a schedule. These are some things to consider when planning your schedule and looking at available classes. Number 1, be sure to plan around your mandatory pre-enrolled courses. Number 2, allow for at least 30 minutes to travel between the Frost and medical campuses. Number 3, allow for at least 10 minutes to travel between classes on the same campus. Number 4, register for linked lectures and labs or discussions simultaneously. Number 5, double-check prerequisites for courses. Number 6, double-check attributes for courses. Use registrar.slu.edu to read up on what each attribute means. And finally, Number 7, make sure the class is actually open. More information on these individual aspects will be brought up as we continue. Registration preparation, searching for classes. We'll go back to the Student tab in Banner Self-Service to start. Again, click on the registration link. Next, we will click on Look Up Classes. You will need to choose the appropriate term from the drop-down box and click Submit. Instead of starting to search by selecting the subject, go ahead and click on the Advanced Search button. Here, you can enter all relevant information that you know about the courses that you will be registering for. It gives us a few more options. So in this example, Theological Studies is our subject, our course number is 2710, and we're only looking for classes over here on the Frost campus. So if we wanted to expand that search, we could. Just to give you an example. So when we enter the course subject, number, and location, we will get a list of classes that fit our criteria. It's important to understand how to read a course in Banner, so we're going to walk through this process. Number 1, you can see that this course is closed. There is a C there. If there was an open checkbox, it would be open. The CRN, which is unique to that course, is listed here. Subject with Theo, course number 2710. Section 1, worth 3 credits. The title of the course. And this class will meet on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If it said TR, that would stand for Tuesday, Thursday. The times it meets from 10 to 10:50 in the morning. There are a total of 19 spots in the course, with 18 of those spots actually filled, meaning there are 0 spots remaining. This class does have a wait list with 10 spots, and there are 8 spots that are already taken up on that wait list, so it's pretty full and would be a hard class to get into. The instructor is Dr. Otten. The class will go from August 24th to December 17th. Location is still to be announced. And there is an attribute on this course, so we want to make sure that we understand what that attribute means. So let's go ahead and find out more information. You can go to the registrar's page to find out more about individual attributes. I would highly recommend doing this if you are not sure. Now, going back to the course, if you click on the CRN for the course, you can find out more information. In this example, we can see that this course is offered on the Frost campus and it's a class that's taught in person. At times, you may be able to see a course that's offered online in the same way. If we went even further and clicked on the class title, we can see even more information, including prerequisites for the course. It's important to double check these. If you don't have the prerequisite course, you'll be unable to register for this class. So in this example, Theology 1000 is the prerequisite to Theology 2710. Now it's best to go ahead and write down all the CRNs that fit for the spaces in our schedule, including the class title, dates, times, all that information. Be sure to also write down the course subject and course number, and meeting times as well. Include backup courses too, just in case your first choices get filled. If you are signing up for a class that has a lab or discussion attached to the lecture, you will need to consider different things. Lectures are noted as 3 to 4 credit level courses. Labs are noted as 0 to 1 credit courses. You'll need to enroll in both the lecture and the lab at the same time, otherwise you will get a link to course error. And finally, some theology lectures will have an assigned discussion section, so be sure to click on the CRN to check it out. Let's look at some examples. We'll look at a class with a lab attached or a language lab in this example. We're looking at Spanish 1010 and notice that there's a lot of options. However, if we look closer, we'll be able to see that some of the courses are 3 credits and some are 0. This signals to you that the 0 credit lab must be attached to the course. We'll need to sign up for both the lecture and the lab at the same time to properly register for this course. Now we'll look at an attached discussion example. We want to register for Theology 1000, but when we click on the CRN, we notice that there's something written in. This course notes that Lecture Section 1 is attached to Discussion Sections 101 through 108. This means that if we want to get into this specific lecture section, we need to have a specific discussion as well. Here you can see how you can determine which 0 credit discussion coordinates with Lecture Section 1. If you look under Section, you can see Discussions 101 through 108. If you're trying to register outside of this range, you would get a registration error. Now we have some class options. Let's go ahead and fill in our potential class options with their CRNs onto our class schedule worksheet to make sure everything works before registering. Time to register. We'll go back to the Student tab under Registration and click on Add or Drop Classes. Here we can go ahead and enter in all CRNs at the same time in the boxes. Once they're all entered in, you can just click the Enter button or click on the Submit Changes link. Okay, so we've entered all of our CRNs and we ran into some problems. Let's go ahead and look at the registrar's website for help. To find out more about registration errors, be sure to check out registrar.slu.edu, as there is a list of different registration errors that you can take a look at. To learn more about closed courses and waitlists, be sure to also reference your SLU 101 registration guide for more information. Let's go ahead and see our final schedule. Still under the registration link, let's look again at Week at a Glance and Student Schedule Detail. You will need to walk away with copies of both. We've seen this Week at a Glance before. While it's different than what we were looking at previously, we're going to use this as an example. Using this same one, we'll look at the Student Schedule Detail. This one has all the information that we need to know. It's also a great resource to use when ordering books at the bookstore. Some things to note for the rest of the summer before you come back to SLU. Number 1, do not change your schedule over the summer. It has been reviewed multiple times to make sure that the days, times, and locations work logistically. Be sure to ask your advisor if you have questions about your schedule. Number 2, if you are bringing in any AP or dual credits, make sure they are sent to SLU when they are posted. And number 3, we're excited to see our new Billikens in the fall, so welcome! If you have any further questions, feel free to ask a SLU 101 leader or academic advisor who is helping in the lab. Good luck registering for classes!